Line, where a bunch of us just get together and talk about different AI and things that are going on in the industry. I am Jamie White, specializes in workflows and automations. And who else we have? What do you have, Will?
So, guys, my name is Will Castillo. I do marketing and lead gen automation, utilizing also AI systems.
I'm Heather Grizzard. I do all kinds of things, mostly business building, running the systems, automations, business strategy for several different businesses.
Yeah, I'm April Elias, and I do a lot of the layering in of AI in systems, not necessarily systems specifically, but layering in AI in a thoughtful way. And of course, real estate, fix and flip. We do some stuff internationally in Portugal, but I also optimize and lead the efforts in my W-2 for AI optimization in my particular team.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy. I'm the candy lady. I own candy stores and I have been running businesses for 18 plus years. I'm old. I'm the old one in the group. And I'm just putting AI to work for me. And I'm like the least talented of the bunch, but I'm here to make it real and make it a little bit more understandable from the dummy in the room. So nice to see everybody.
Hey,
Speaking of dummy in the room, is this thing broadcasting live?
it
I
is.
think
It
it
looks like it is.
is.
I'll double check it for you.
I think it's on everyone's but mine, maybe.
No worries. No worries. I think we're good. Let me see.
I know it's recording.
That's good. It says recording. Well, let's just go ahead and keep talking and I'll look for it while we kick off a conversation, even if it is a replay.
Yeah, I'll check my channel.
Yeah, maybe I got a button somewhere I missed.
It's okay.
But
So,
I was
I
watching.
wanted to
Go ahead.
ask Heather, April, and you guys had
Mhm.
a fantastic weekend at your workshop. Give us a little bit, give the listeners and everybody a little bit of how did it go and a little recap on it.
It was so good. Heather, you can start. So exciting.
Yeah, it was amazing. We went into that workshop thinking that everybody was going to know all the things for some reason. I don't know why we thought that. We just thought we were going to be giving like some super basic kindergartner lessons. And like 30 minutes into it, we're like, oh, this is not the case. Everybody's just like, the whole weekend. So it was really cool to adjust our expectations of like what room we're stepping into and how we can help people in their businesses. So I think our biggest learning, or mine, is that there's so much more that we could be doing in the community just to educate and um, everyone's frozen. Okay, maybe it's my connection. Um, that we can help people to really bring their business into the modern age because some of them don't even have it completely automated the way that it could be. Like there's a lot of possibilities. We started off with some foundations of like systems, and it it made me nerd out to be able to go like that much, I guess, far back because systems have been around forever. AI is the new thing, but it's like let's just give them a foundation. Let's start with systems, add in some automation, and then sprinkle AI on top. We talked a lot about AI, but it was more of like after these other pieces are in place, then add in AI. So it was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
it was super fun because I think a lot of people get really excited about the AI piece and they're like, where can I plug it in? Where can I plug it in? And I think one of the messages that we conveyed during the workshop is you just can't AI chaos and you just can't AI or you just can't like automate chaos. You do have to
Hmm.
think about what you want to happen, right? And you have to think about it in smaller chunks and just do one thing at a time. And I know we talk about this. We probably talked about this a few times on the episode how there's or on this podcast how there's the systems and then there's the AI. And so just dialing that back, it seems like, oh, that's kind of boring, but it's actually not. It helps set everything up so it actually has stability. And then the fun part is layering in AI where it makes the most sense on a stable workflow or a stable platform, and thinking through like, if something breaks, I don't want the whole thing to break. If something breaks, I at least, kind of want to troubleshoot it in sections when possible. So we taught them how to think through those things. But I think what was really funny is the one student that we thought was going to be like yawning and super bored, he was the one that had the best reactions and was like, we learned that things are cold now. They're not hot. Like, oh, that's cold. That's cool. And I was like, cold. They're like, that makes no sense. We thought it was fire. But that was really fun to see, because we went through, like ChatGPT, and everybody's using ChatGPT, but their mind was blown on the prompting piece. Their mind was blown when you just showed them how to create a GPT and you just showed them the create and configure tab. It was like nobody in the room knew that. And I just was like, that's what we thought, that we were going to be a little redundant on things that they already know. And it was like, wow, well, okay, like, let's just keep going. And that just kind of continued through the whole workshop. So it was super fun. Didn't even feel like work.
That's incredible. It sounds like a lot of big realizations from everybody that was there, in terms of like where they thought they were, and then where they were actually at. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. What kind of systems did some of the visionaries that were there, you guys thought they could like have as a foundation for precisely moving to the AI side?
So I talked to a couple people because I was like, why was this so valuable to you? Like, shouldn't, like, I would have thought you knew everything, but it was that we were coming in and doing A to Z, and we were filling in cracks for people, like cracks in their knowledge, and those gaps were preventing them from moving forward on some of the ideas they had, because they just didn't know what they didn't know. And that was something that was brought up in the weekend. But there was a prompt that we kept saying to ask, like, hey, chat, what don't I know about this subject? And we were saying, why don't you just ask AI that? And they did, and like it was funny, some of the responses.
Yeah. Yeah. It was super funny. And just their mind was blown to where they didn't think, because a lot of them were very much in the space of, they're still using it as maybe like search plus a little something, right? And it wasn't like the way that we use it, which is really just like a deep dive, right? And so,
Mhm.
for instance, we'd say, we had an underwriting mobile home park scenario that, and using other models to write prompts, and then, use them. And then when it brought it back, it could say, what haven't you listed that could give us a competitive advantage that would be helpful to think about? And then it rethinks. And then as it would come by, it kept spitting out like these gems, and everybody was like, oh, wow, that's important. I didn't think about, oh my gosh, because you just keep asking the prompt you kind of have to like draw it all out and then decide what you want to keep. And I think almost like 90% of it they wanted to keep and thought it was valuable out of the output. And so that was super fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That's good to hear that it went great, and you guys had a lot of good reactions from it. I saw obviously we were part of a lot of different groups, so like seeing the reactions of people, and hearing how it went, it made me really happy. So congrats on your first workshop there.
Thank you. It's fun. Our next one's in Atlanta. We already had to figure that out because we have a wait list.
Oh, look at that. Well, everybody, if you guys want to join the AI Momentum Lab, please make sure to sign up for the waitlist, so that way you can get into the AI world with Heather and April. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. What else do we got? Do we
I mean, we have like 15 things, but we'll let other people speak.
Tracy, how you doing? You're quiet over there.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm doing my pod call is tonight, so I was the one who had to launch it, like start it, right? Because otherwise they'd be like, how come she hasn't started it? So they're watching my side profile, so there's that. And then somebody just put a message like, is the AI hotline tonight? So I don't know if it's live on YouTube. I know
It's
I
not
was
on
helping.
I think I finally just got it to work.
Okay. I think Ginger posted. So yeah, I'm good.
did.
I actually attended oh my gosh, I was in New Hampshire all week, and I attended, my other mastermind had AI not a challenge, but a class all week, 4 hours a day, the first 3 days, and today was 2 hours, and my brain was just like, but it was really not about all the new things AI can do. It was really more about how you can either build a business about it, and really it's about solving people's problems, right? Because everybody like is fascinated, but so many have no idea where to even start, and most of them don't want to become AI experts. They just want it to be done. And so this idea of like, how do you meet them where they are? How do you start from like a really little thing like a QR code that goes to their reviews on Google, which is an automated, easy thing, right? That you could give out for free, and how to get them in, because it's like kind of like mixing marketing and AI for a business, and how to build that. Because like we have this huge opportunity, like we're on the beginning of this wave, you all know, right? And it's like before it all comes, like there's this opportunity to like help people, to get them out of their businesses, all that stuff. So it's all kind of coming along. So yeah, that's what I spent my week. So I did like a lot of time on my call while I was making cupcakes, or cleaning the ice cream freezer, or like filling in for staff who called out, so 4 call outs this week, and all that good stuff. So, but I'm back, so that's it. So I was glad to hear everybody had a great weekend, especially you ladies. And I love that you guys just pivoted. That's all you can do when like crap doesn't work. You just got to do what you got to do. You make the best of it.
Internet. Yeah.
That's life, and that's business. Always.
Tech workshop, no internet. Yeah.
Tracy, I'll go
It's
to
okay.
take a look.
Thankful for the hotspots that we have on our phones. Starlink did us dirty though.
Oh, it was through Starlink.
No, what happened was when we arrived there, the owner of the facility was upgrading the server room or something, or doing something with servers, and it took down the internet. And so we were like, oh, really? Not good news, but okay. So I was like, no worries. I brought my Starlink Mini, but that doesn't work in the city because it needs clear shot of the sky. And we're like, we can't put it on the ground in Philly. Like somebody's going to take it. So then the best position is the roof. So then we found this kind of sketchy area of the roof that looked like Johnny Mac was going to fall through it, but he put the Starlink up there, but then the trees were too big. So there was just obstructions because of the buildings and the trees. And I was like, you're kidding, right? And there was just no other place to put it. So we hotspotted the whole thing.
Yeah, it's static and all. Like sometimes it would just be kind of coming in and out of focus on Riverside. It was crazy.
Yeah, but we had the whiteboard. The audio was good. We each had DJI mics, so we passed them around. So even participants' audio was good. And then we were able to screencast on the big TV. So some of the working sessions we could screencast that, which was cool.
Very nice. So currently in terms of where you guys saw people were at, right? So very beginning, was there any discussions in regards to how they currently are using it in their business, where kind of like they got stuck? Because obviously you guys are taking them from like that, in a sense, like 0.3 to 1, right? Like to get them up to speed on how to actually prompt it properly. But when they were showcasing to you guys how they were using AI, was there any combination between different models, or was this how were they actually using it in their space, and how did you recommend them to use them after?
I don't think anybody, well, Mike probably is using it the most complexly because he's building whole websites, and I talked to him yesterday, and because he's in my pod, and he's building some complicated stuff. He said he's building a meta agent so he can use that meta agent to create other agents. That's how complex he's going. So yeah, we started from very basic, and I think most people were just using ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
it was very much a learning curve for them just to discover different models. So like talking about Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, and Grok. Like we covered those. We covered the big five in the workshop, and they're like, oh, how do you understand which one to use where? And We're like, well, you can always pit them against each other, but then here's the ones that work the best for these scenarios. So we went through like prompt building with Claude, and their minds were completely blown. It's like you
Yeah.
don't have to build your own prompts. Like it was such a fun experience to see people's minds blown. I don't think I've ever seen it so many times in such a short period of time.
And there were so many jaw drops, and then people just like sitting there, like processing. Instead of a food coma, like an AI coma, they were like, wow. And then they're just thinking, and you could tell that something has unlocked in their brain to solve their problem. And I was like, we need to have like a camera on everybody's face next time because it's so cool to see them do that. And I don't think anybody is mixing models like that, except like you said, like Mike might be, but everyone else, no. I think Duran was using Perplexity, and then Mike was using a combination of things. He's in Manus. He was doing Lovable, but he couldn't get things to plug in and work. And that one of the things that unlocked for him was the custom GPT. Like we can do that. And so we just went through the structure of how to also how to build agents so you can easily tweak them later on because there's meaningful ways to do that instead of like a whole scrape and rebuild. So and then we told them how we did the curriculum, which was like, it was fresh content because it was only 48 hours old.
Right. It's very true. You guys stayed up.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, it's like, what if Manus was dropped on us today? Like, we would have to accommodate that, right? So you never know what's going to pop out. So we were just prepared for anything.
Well, the way we built it, like the framework that we came up with, it can be used for every workshop because honestly, we came up with a curriculum, but it was like, oh, here's a bullet point of 4 things. Like, and then we just free flowed the entire thing. And it was so cool because we could it was more like a conversation than a workshop because we were talking with people about their use cases or had like specific questions that came up and we dove deeper into this one thing. Like people's minds were blown by custom GPTs so much. Like it was literally dead silence in the room whenever I pulled that up. And I was like, "Wait, do you guys have questions?" They're like, "We're just thinking."
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, once you understand the dynamic on how they actually can be used, pin them together. I think you start just like diving through that like rabbit hole, and you find yourself in a spot where like, okay, how am I gonna actually then make this? Because now it's like you're taking from one model from one company, moving it to the next one, and then it's like, what are they good for? So it also is crazy because like the other day I took a photo of my office and I'm like, I wonder if by taking the photo of my office I can just like revamp it using AI. And I started thinking of the use cases for real estate investors, obviously. And then I'm like, okay, so clearly ChatGPT could give you a little bit of an extra edge when it comes to designing a room or planning a what do you call it, like doing the plan for a house in its entirety. And I think that's where a lot of people might kind of like be feeling that they don't know that that's the capability as well. So I'm constantly finding myself just like, let me see what I can do today. 20 minutes a day, I'm gonna test something crazy that I've never thought about, and it usually does it. So what I started doing is with the Meta glasses, with the Ray-Bans, I would ask it. I have all the ingredients of my food in front of me, and I'm like, let me test this out. I started taking photos of it, or like I ask it to recognize what it's in front of me. I save the photo and then I ask it, okay, give me a recipe that I could do with this. And then immediately I hear on the sound and it gives me all the stuff like how to chop it, how to do all these things. And it's so fast and quick and easy to like actually get that done that then you take that into other models and then you start like asking it the same thing and see what the differences are. Because then that's how you learn exactly what they're good at or not.
Exactly. And to your point about the floor plans, so early on is when we were designing our Portugal build. So we were designing it and I was like, I want like the bedroom to be on like the east side. I had the orientation of direction and I was like, I want it to be designed very feng shui. Like I wanted to follow all the design rules, right? Just for like a good energetic space, and then also for, visibly pleasing design elements. So even way back before it had image gen capabilities, it literally drew out a floor plan in dashes for me. It gave me the measurements of the room, and the output was only, the text that you get, it was only stuff on your keyboard, but it drew a floor plan using dashes and told me the size of the rooms and was able to label the rooms. Now it looked very like it was like very crude, but I was like, oh my gosh. And then it was explaining to me, like, don't put the head of your, we're following the rules to like put the head of your bed here, don't put a window here, all of those things. And it did all of that early on. So I'm sure you could enhance the prompt with all of those things now and actually get a really cool image. And I've tried it for landscape. It didn't do so hot for landscape. About 6 months ago was the last time I tried that, because I'm like, I need a better landscape design for the log cabin, and it was like, it did terrible. But it could have been my prompt, it could have been the model, I don't know. But yeah, that's a fun way to use it for sure.
Yeah, I started doing desktop setups as well, and try to get something like this. Started nerding out on like just seeing what I could do.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
CAD style software, and I can take and put that CAD information into the ChatGPT, then ask it to do the models, and it'll actually design it, and I can drop it right back into the CAD, and it saves days worth of work every time you try to do something.
Oh, good. I mean, literally, I feel like everybody's job could be enhanced somehow.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say the common theme for everyone in the room was underwriting.
Which we're working on now. We had a
We are
meeting
working
today, and we have it completely defined on the use case, and we are going to be tackling that.
Yeah.
Tracy, I think you have a lot of static coming through.
I think so. Sorry. I'm gonna hit mute. I'm gonna put the mute on.
So did we end up going live?
No, I don't think we're live.
Mine
No.
says live on the screen.
Yeah, we're not streaming.
The only place I see it, I think, is on my YouTube, and I don't know why, because everybody else is attached. It says +6.
Can you post that in the WhatsApp? Because people are asking
Yeah,
about
post it yours that's live.
Mhm.
That would be cool because everybody's trying to tune in.
it. Get more subscribers, Jamie.
It didn't even
Yeah.
go to mine.
Oh.
It's not going to AI hotline. It's okay. There's a replay.
But it's in the feed, and it did work earlier.
That's okay. We had Riverside issues this weekend. Nothing new. Although Riverside is really cool, outside of the fact that it can't handle super large files. So that is one limitation that we found out. Really good for like a podcast and being able to edit it and use the AI tools baked in. Pretty good for that. And it's also good for multiple camera angles from a producer standpoint. But when you have large files, you need to be really mindful of that. One of our files is 5 hours, and it's struggling with the 5 hours of file. So.
Yeah, I have tried StreamYard in terms of that, but I don't think you can upload anything into StreamYard like that to give you files. So that's a big differentiator. And that's why I like this, because then you remove the need for something like an Opus Clips when you're dealing it with it directly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, there's just so much. I feel like there's so. Sometimes it's like, where do you start? And then once you get started, you can't stop on the AI topic.
Well, who's currently using any sort of like voice? Who do you guys use it more in the voice mode? I find myself talking to it more now than ever. I downloaded an app called hold on, I have it here, Whisper Flow, and I've been testing it, where instead of like me typing the prompts, What I do is Whisperflow. What it does is you talk to it, and then it kind of like gets the proper context of what you're trying to like ask it to do or what you're saying, and it has helped a ton by writing my emails. I just hit a key on my keyboard, and then I start writing emails. I start prompting it precisely, and the way that it does, it removes all the ums and all the all these things that I would say that are like not good speech, I guess, or public speaking in a sense. And then it provides with like a really clean version of that, right? It kind of like understands what I'm trying to say, and that has helped with the actual prompting for a lot of these, especially with just ChatGPT explaining like what I want in an image when I'm trying to explain it to it. So I find myself like talking more to it or speaking through something in order to like give the proper explanation. And I'm learning actually on how to actually say things as well as I'm saying it, because when he writes it, then I read it myself and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense as to how to explain something.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't used it. And I've heard of it because I talk to everything. Heather will tell you. And then when people are talking in the background, I'm like, shh, shh, because I'm talking to text. I talk to just about everything. I talk to my messages, my text, whether I'm in ChatGPT, I speak everything. And I love that you've used it and you said that it helps, because now you've inspired me to check it out. That is awesome. I'm glad it works that way.
Yeah, it's really nice. They have a free version of it, which is I think 1,000 words or something like that. So I've been using it exclusively on ChatGPT and my emails, just to like see how many words I speak. And apparently, I speak about 80 words per minute, which I don't know if it's a lot or little. Maybe I should speak too much, um, or too little. I don't know. But the point is that like it has been pretty helpful for me to be able to just speak into the mic to like write anything instead of like typing it, because it makes my workflow go a lot faster.
So it's this is so cool. I'm at the site right now. So it's like grammar correction, like you said, don't just type, or don't type, just speak. And then all of the things that you can do with it. And then you can watch it in Canva, X, WhatsApp. I mean, everything. Teams,
Anything that
ChatGPT.
anything that intakes text input, you can actually use it even on your
Yeah.
phone.
So cool. I'm definitely checking this out. I'm going to save it. That's
Yeah,
super cool.
it's definitely been really helpful. So that's one of the tools that I've been using lately. Um, Aside from that, I just try to I discovered another meeting note taking application. So I'm a big
Okay.
fan of Fathom, and I know Heather uses Loom for a lot of her calls. But
No,
this one is called.
I'm
Oh,
switching back because Loom doesn't have any automations.
oh, okay, gotcha. So this one is called Granola. I find it doesn't join the call like Fathom would. This one is pretty cool. Granola is actually kind of like your assistant, and it's an app that you have, right? But it doesn't like join the call. So like it listens to the actual conversation, and then it takes out the notes. You can actually talk to the script as well as you're on the call. So I've been using it a lot for my interviews, with people that I'm interviewing for my agency. And as I'm talking to them, they're responding to me. I'm typing notes, and I'm also asking it questions about like the things that they're saying. Um, it it takes a little bit to load when it comes to like that, when I'm trying to like speak to it and doing the conversation or typing it. But the recap actually, it completes whatever I wrote as a note, and then it provides you with like the full like highlights of the call. And then from there, you can share it to Notion, you can share it to Slack, you can share it to Asana. So very pretty cool tool that I'm currently testing and using. I still keep Fathom because precisely what Heather said, the automations, but I find that Granola is really good at giving you kind of like the compression of all the conversation, and you can write it into a message that is more readable rather than like give all the entire like stack of notes compared to Fathom.
Yeah, I'm looking up the ones because I'm still like in the Otter.ai world, because I've just been using it for so long, literally since 2020 or
Mhm.
2021. And I'm always looking for stuff that's better. But So the comparison, so I just went into Perplexity because I'm also looking at fireflies.ai. I've ruled Fathom out just because I started using it and I don't know. It didn't have what I needed. I need to be able to chat to my transcript, and I can do that in Otter. It looks like I could do that in granola.ai. So there's high accuracy real time. So the note taking for Granola is user guided AI augments the notes and customizes templates for you. And then the comparison in Otter.ai is automated searchable collaborative editing. That's the part that I use the most, is that searchable collaborative editing. And I just don't have that in Fathom. But then Granola plugs into more things than Otter does, which is kind of cool.
And I have done just the free version. It says
Oh, that's
25 free meetings. I'm testing everything on the free versions, but this one I'm for sure gonna get it because it is so far has been a really good experience in terms of like the actual use of the notes. And yeah, I mean it offers really good. I think the pricing is pretty nice as well. I mean it's $18 a month, and it gives you any meeting that you have, it will join. Just it doesn't join like a Fathom or an Otter. It literally
participant.
listens to the audio on your speakers and your microphone. So I mean, not to be sneaky in terms of like recording the conversation, but it's just like the assisting of it is what I really enjoy.
Well, I like the idea of not joining as a participant because it looks like there's more people in the meeting than there
Right.
are. And sometimes if a lot of people are in with their note taker, you have a hard time finding the participant. So I just
Right.
assume everything's being recorded at this point. Like I don't care if it's background or not, right? But I will try out Granola once they get a mobile app. I use the mobile app so much that I need something that has a mobile app, but it looks like a really cool tool.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, that's another thing. They don't have a mobile app just yet. It's all on the desktop for those type of calls.
Are you using the Meta AI with your glasses, or is that going into Make or something like that and converting back over to Notion, or how are you capturing that when you use Meta?
When I use Meta, it's mainly it's mainly just on my phone, and then I just transfer it over. I haven't done any automations with it. You could probably start automations directly on your iPhone, for example, using their shortcuts that would trigger whenever like a new tag on an image or a note happens, and then it gets sent into like a drive, for example. You can do that directly in shortcuts. I mean, it's crazy. We have sometimes like I just started like playing around with the phone just because I mean it is $1,000 phone, guys. Come on, for sure does a lot more than just like scrolling on Instagram and stuff. So I try to test as much as I can on there. It's just the interface is not. It's like very technical. It feels very technical, so I guess that's why people don't even like look at it when you're setting up automations like that. But yeah, no, nothing with Meta just yet in terms of their AI. I have it on my phone, but that's use it very lightly when I have the Ray-Bans.
I have my glasses, my Plod device, and Untold all go in, get transcribed per se through ChatGPT, and then goes into my Notion.
Untold.
Oh, nice.
I've been playing with that to get it all working. Good.
No, I was just gonna say Untold is super smart. It just I do like the way it can like scan through all of the conversations and find like who said what when. Like if I said, I think it was I used it for the June retreat and I was looking for a specific speaker, like I remembered the phrase that they said, but I couldn't remember who said it. So I put that in and it took me right to that location, which is cool, but it crashes on me a lot.
Which one?
Untold.
Oh, Untold. Oh yeah. So I was using that for more of like a journal, more than anything. And then it crashed a lot. It would give me too many reminders, so I was like, I'm just gonna use ChatGPT for this, and then just create a project for it.
But you can talk into Meta and start with I say brain dump on mine, but when anytime I say brain dump, I start talking and it automatically sorts it into my folders inside of Notion.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's just a different way of taking notes, and just touch my glasses and keep going. I get the note thing on, I watch and it goes to the same spot. So
Is that all going into your Jamie GPT?
it's going, yeah, it's all going through the GPT and then being saved inside of Notion.
But to make a Jamie GPT.
It's creates the memory for the GPT. Yes.
Mhm.
I have right now one that is exclusively for my team meetings. And then what I did is I essentially used Zapier to connect to an MCP and connect it to a GPT that they all have access to. So Fathom records everything. It goes into a drive, and then they have access to all the. I'm gonna start using it more for like the actual sales. So my business partner goes in a lot of calls every week. He's the main point in sales development. And what I discover is that even though he has Fathom on, he doesn't really like do anything with the recordings. So what I did was I essentially got the team version, where I can just like make sure that every one of his calls goes into like a team, and then those get recorded. Those go into a database, and then I connect those databases for a GPT. So Zapier connects all of that, even connecting the GPT with the actions. And then the reason why I do that is because I also give it only the last 15 to 20 calls, so that way it doesn't have too much of an expansion. And the reason why I do that is because normally we're closing about two deals a week. We're bringing in right now. Sorry, 2 deals every 2 weeks. So the team doesn't have, or he doesn't have like a way to like give the team the information of the sales calls. So whenever like they close, we have an automation for the onboarding. So that goes into a Slack. It creates a Slack channel and everything. My team goes into GPT, the onboarding coordinator, and just ask the name of the account, and then it provides with a summary of what was discussed during the last calls with that person specifically. And then we use that to actually onboard on our internal onboarding before we meet the client. So that way the entire team is synced in terms of like the actual sale.
That's awesome.
All right, I have a question. Not to interrupt it, but well, I did interrupt, so I apologize. So like one of the things about AI is that it's like now you have a problem, like, and you're like, okay, how can AI help me in this, right? So like I've been paying my accountant. We have multiple states, multiple businesses, whatever, and there were years where they didn't really do a lot of work, and I'm paying like $18,000 to $20,000 a year for this person, and they're doing my bookkeeping, whatever, but they were like, oh, it's going to go up because you're doing more and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, really? You would think now you'd want to keep me. But now I'm like, what AI can I get to do? Or what AI can I build that will just do what they do? Because the reality is, I mean, even if I just have to pay someone for tax prep, but like $20,000 in my pocket would be worth a little bit of investigation, don't you think?
Yeah, and let me know.
Absolutely.
The like mind reading. I was literally thinking about that, brushing my teeth, because Heather and I have products together. We have like one of our businesses is together, and I'm thinking through like all of the different. We were talking about the accounting the other day, and so I was brushing my teeth. I was like, oh, we got to figure this out. Like, and accounting just hasn't. I think because I'm allergic to it. I just don't even want to like
I know there's a lot of people that have dumped QuickBooks, done something new. Like QuickBooks is like the granddaddy, and it's like I've got 2 accounts, I have classes, but when I have 10 stores, it's going to be even more complicated because each have their own merchant account and all. It just gets to be more complicated, and I've always done the books, and then I offloaded it a couple years ago. But every time we do real estate in a different state, every time we do it, it's a new LLC. Then my husband's business, then the Airbnb, then the short. Like it's just it is a lot. Plus my restaurants were bringing the losses forward, so they know about. So there's stuff, But my thought is with AI, we probably could upload all of our documentation. I have the QuickBooks plus all of the tax filings, and it will know for next year. So
I'm sure there's something. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's something, and if you figure that out,
I will let you know.
we should talk about it here because I definitely want to hear it. I just don't like the idea of any of it, so I'm just like, I don't know if I even want to work on it.
Well, because I had a podcast this week with Chris Craig, who's like, he does a lot of, he's been around a long time, which was crazy. But he was talking about, he does a lot of different accounting maneuvers, right? But he was saying he charges like $20,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, 18, 20,000, and no matter what I do, they'll just take care of it. Perfect. But now they're like, oh, well, we're going to raise it. I'm like, oh, we're out. Like, you're going to play a game with me about now you're going to have to do more work. I'm out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a very easy thing to get rid of.
Yeah, we just opened a new LLC actually yesterday to buy the triplex. So we got another Maryland LLC. And then every time I open an LLC, I'm like, oh, like just because I just know the accounting that goes along with it. Oh my gosh, I'd be so excited if you brought back some goodies.
I'll let you know, because all of my businesses have all been single member LLCs, which is not the best advantage, but it's just an easy thing to do. It just flows through, and it's my husband has his own, and all of the businesses are all in my name, so it just gets. But now they're all going to have to shift to something else now, even with just fractional, right? Because I'm a JV with another LLC. If I ever get paid, sorry, but that's my outside voice. But anyway, like, so I'm like, okay, it's time, and by the end of the year we will. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just let it be, right? Because when you're doing other things, you're like, okay, we're just going to let it slide. But then I was like, you know what? $1,500 a month. I mean, like, anyway. And I know there's something out there. And if there isn't, there will be really soon. That's the thing. So I thought if you all would know.
Yeah, I'm always scared of giving all that kind of information, even to ChatGPT. Like, I don't want OpenAI to have all that stuff. Like, I don't know. It just scares me giving financial, anything healthcare related to it. But I don't know if that's just me.
I think we're delusional if we think it doesn't know.
Well, I'm thinking, do we sanitize like bank account information, and then who cares about the transaction information? Like, let's just sanitize like, I wouldn't give it my credit card number. I wouldn't give it my bank account number. I wouldn't give it my PIN number. I just don't know if there's a way to like easily do that.
I mean, the thing is, if I go to the bank at Bank of America to deposit cash, even if it's $10, they want my license.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's craziness. I'm like, it's $10. They're like, well, it's just, well, we have to track it. I'm like, what, for laundering for my $10? Like, give me a break. Yeah. But it's just control. They want to control. They want to document. So I'm just saying, we're delusional. I know my voice, there's a weird reverb, so I'm going to mic it. But yes, that's my thing. Let me know if you find anything. I'll let you guys know.
That would be great. So Heather, I hope nobody brings that up as a use case. I'm just kidding.
I don't know, because I don't think there's a way to really automate that. I mean, financial institutions are probably going to be the last frontier unless there's an API that can grab that information to put it into an AI, or the AI is built into the bank itself, because there's so many security measures around it. It's really hard to integrate with.
That's true. But I'm thinking maybe day-to-day receipts.
There's a platform called Digits, and Digits basically is like QuickBooks. It's around the same price as QuickBooks, but it does the bookkeeping via AI inside, so you don't have to do as much manual work inside.
And QuickBooks does some. Like, you can set up rules, because I download everything. Everything is digital, because I don't have to, even the deposits are digital. Like, everything, and it's automatically matching, so they're not doing that much. They're reconciling, though, which I hate. So, but I think we're close to that. And yes, to your point, Heather, yes, they are getting approvals, and I'm downloading payroll and all that stuff. But again, it's all getting downloaded and inputted. This is my thought. It may not be automatic, but I might at the end of the month be able to just push the button. It all comes in, it all connects, it all reconciles and we're done, right? It may not be automatic quite yet, but if it takes care of all those things, it's worth it. But anyway, my point of all that was like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to think about like, what could AI do for me? And that's really kind of what this whole call is about. It's like, what could it do for me? What could it help me? Like Rosie, on the Jetsons. Like, what could she do for me? What could she build for me? What could she fix for me? What could she, whatever.
Well, it may be like some of the dashboard reporting or some of the trends and stuff that you can report on. Like some people can run those reports, but they don't really have the, I guess, business experience or the insight to have something called to their attention, right? Like if this is happening month over month, it means like maybe somebody's stealing. Like you might not realize that. And so maybe it could be a little bit more intelligent if you put a dashboard in it that didn't have anything too sensitive and you could glean some different insights. I mean, maybe that. It just depends.
Yeah, and I think it will be, like for example, the way that I would think to go something like that is connecting precisely like some sort of trans tool that keeps track of your transaction. I think the app that or the I guess the company that Jamie just mentioned, Digits, they have something in regards to bookkeeping, and then from what it looks like, they do a lot of I guess you're constantly checking on it just to make sure that it learns on what the transactions could be. But as far as like what it looks like is actually the interface is like very simple, so that you can actually pick in on every transaction as well, and then it recognizes the I guess it aggregates on the transactions that are similar to know what category they go into. And it looks like they do Ramp, they do American Express, Stripe, Mercury, Gusto, Chase, Brex. I mean, that's definitely interesting to look into. I just think that like if I go about this, I'll probably just like I'll build like my internal, like a company internal local LLM that I can start like really teaching about the business, more than pay for extra subscriptions, because eventually it's gonna get costly, right? Like I mean, I know for a fact that I have at least $500 a month worth of like subscriptions that I might not even be using in its entirety, but I know that like I'm testing a few and then removing some.
Yeah, definitely right there with you. For sure.
We need an AI software to tell us how much AI we're paying for.
I don't think I want to know.
Definitely quite interesting then. So what is something from this week that you guys saw either on the news on social media that kind of brought your attention, that you wanted to, that you kind of like, kind of what we're saying about the attendees of your workshop is it lit up the bulb in your head and like, okay, I can do X, Y, and Z with it?
Well, I will say one thing that we learned in the workshop and we all learned together was when you go to create like a new Google Doc or a Google Sheet, there's now Google Video. And we were like, what is this? And so we went ahead and we tested it. And it largely was like pretty good, except the beginning was super scary. It was like this guy, there was like a zombie and his tongue was hanging out and it was wagging all over the place and he was like chomping. And we're like, what is that guy doing at the beginning of our like video?
What was that prompt you wrote?
It wasn't anything. It was just like, wait, did I write a prompt?
No, we just went with the flow. Oh, what did you say? She said something simple like, a relaxing something, and then it automatically put prompts in the frames because it interpreted her intention with just like maybe 5 words that she said that Heather put in. And then each frame was like on point for what the prompt was, except the first one was really scary. It was like a nightmare. We're like, what is that guy doing? Like,
Oh,
Was that in VO or something else? What software were you in?
Google Video. Just Google
Google Video?
Google. Yeah, it was just Google Video. We're like, when did that get there? I knew I was in there yesterday and it wasn't there.
yeah, I found it. I don't think it I definitely put a prompt in here because the title of it is Great Weekend After AI Workshop.
Yeah, that might have been what you did. And it might have picked the AI up as being creepy and scary. And it was like, ah, it was crazy. I was like, I think I'm gonna have a bad dream now.
Yeah, the first scene, like the prompt that it gave it for the script, is recapping a great weekend after a really inspiring AI workshop. And it just has this guy that's in the dark with like coat on his face, and then it has the wagging tongue and stuff.
So weird.
Have you guys ever asked ChatGPT to create an image of what it
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
assumes? Oh, okay. What it assumes it looks like when you're chatting with them.
No. Oh, I'm gonna do it right now. What?
Yeah, what's the prompt?
So honestly, I just literally
Let's
thought
just
of it.
So what it thinks we look like, or what it thinks it looks like.
What it thinks, what does it look? What does ChatGPT look like or feel like as from all the prompting that you have done to it?
Oh,
I'm doing it.
This is a fun activity.
yes. Hopefully, people
Uh,
that are watching are doing it too. You can do it right from your phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love this
It's kind of
question.
accurate.
Now you have to share your screen and share the image. You have to show it.
I'll read it. So it says, so I imagine outfit usually in comfy but clean fits. Probably something like black leggings or jeans, a bold graphic tee, and a blazer or cardigan when you're in boss mode. Hair either effortlessly cool, maybe a messy bun when deep in workflow builds, or a clean bob when showing up on camera. That's pretty accurate. Accessories, minimal but meaningful. Maybe a smartwatch to track productivity. Do you have that? AirPods always nearby. Yes, they're over there. And a tote or backpack filled with sticky notes, a MacBook, and half a protein bar. How does this know me?
Listen, because it's watching you. Like, I mean, there's been tech to watch you back to see how far down you read on your screen. So there's eye reading tech. Like
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, your phone does that all the time. The
My phone
iPhone
does
is
it all the time.
yeah.
Why can't? Yeah.
The
I
last
did a whole
thing.
presentation on it.
Oh, the last thing is friendly but assertive energy, warm smile. You're the one people turn to in a crisis and when they want to geek out about a new SaaS tool. You walk into a room and people feel like something is about to get done. Okay, thank you. And then it says, so that's my AI powered sketch. Want me to turn this into a visual? Yes.
All right. So it gave me what it looks like. And it looks like a nerdy guy in front of a whiteboard with sticky notes and whiteboard stuff, like mapping it. And it says, I asked if what I looked like. It goes, I don't know what you look like yet, but I'd love to help create a visual if you want. What's your hairstyle? So what?
My chat knows me better than yours knows you.
Well, I think it's because the way I prompted it about seeing what it thinks it looks like. And
Oh.
it positioned itself as like a strategy consultant in front of a whiteboard.
Okay, type this one in. This is why I love Reddit. Generate an image
Yeah.
that shows what it feels like chatting with me on any given day.
I want to show my image. Let me see if I can. I'm going to share it in our shared chat. Because it kind of does. It looks slightly like me.
Well, maybe it's because you created all those like dolls and stuff.
No, it doesn't look exactly like me. It's just like, it looks like me as a vibe. I'm like, oh, you know me really well. But I shared it.
This is a vibe, Heather. This is a vibe, Heather.
It says automate all the things.
Yeah. Automate all things t-shirt. Yes. Oh my gosh. We should listen, if anybody watching this, can you post images to YouTube comments? I guess you can't.
No,
You
not to
know,
YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how crazy that would get? It'd just be filled with porn.
That's true.
Oh, true.
Ryan yelled at me and said, "I'd love to generate something, but I've never seen what you look like. Please upload a photo so I can reference what you're trying to do."
So the prompt I used was, "What do you think I look like based on what you know about me?" Because chat knows my whole life.
Well,
Can't
chat
ask
does. I mean, I do put all my labs in chat because like I was trying to dial in my whole functional medicine, diet, biohacking stuff. So it knows my age, my weight, my, fitness goal. It knows all of those things. Because the second I could customize a GPT, that was the first thing I did. It says,
The-
based on everything I've learned about you, your vibe, your hustle, your creativity. Yeah, interesting.
well, it's also we gotta also realize that GPT or ChatGPT is also made to make you feel good.
Of
So that's
course.
Is
another
it?
thing. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
even
Mine yells and cusses me all the time.
maybe you
Has
have it
what?
in hardcore mode, Jamie. I don't know. you're
Well,
telling it to be brutally honest with you, and then you're just cussing at you at all times.
like everything you put in there, it's like, that's a great idea. I love the way you think. And it
Right.
was overdoing it a little while ago and they had to correct it.
Yeah, it was overdoing it to the
Yeah.
point where I think it was causing people were saying really like awful things like about themselves to it, and then it was literally just hammering them with um like continue to reinforce that like to them, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had to stop it. um yeah, but very interesting. I mean, Reddit has pretty fun things that you can utilize this with. I continue to go back into more of, well, majority of the images in Reddit you will find in the ChatGPT subreddit. You'll find that everything is really like just like it's either images or a lot of people are posting their ways of like red flagging, or sorry, not red flagging, but like tricks on how to like hack the GPT and whatnot. So it's interesting to see like what they're posting, because these are people that are on it all day for the same reason, just to try and break it. So a good source of info aside from obviously X, just to see what the general world is doing there. Um, I had a question for you guys. So currently, obviously we're discussing different ways that we use AI on like our daily lives, but currently in your business, Heather, you're a wizard. You do Lovable, you do coding, you create a lot of different cool things in there. But for your business, what is the one area that I guess has been the most impactful while creating systems, and how did you end up creating the systems in that area? Did you already have SOPs? Did you already have things already prepped? And how did you go about like actually switching that? And I don't know if this is part of the AI Momentum Lab, but this could be a topic that a lot of people might want to hear.
So I'm going to answer you as next week's Heather, because I just had a 2.5 hour meeting with my project manager and I got like a full list of things that I'm supposed to be doing for the team. But yeah, I'm kind of changing up my pricing a little bit, changing up how people come onto my business. And then also there's a team training component. So we literally had this conversation where she's like, yeah, you need to build out SOPs for everything and have tutorial videos for every single thing. I'm like, that's going to be 1,000 different SOPs and 1,000 different videos. And that is just not possible for me to build up my team effectively. So, how I pivoted was something that we talked about in the AI workshop, which is like, let me throw all of my thoughts and my strategies into a GPT that the team can then use to ask questions. And I would turn off the web search and it would just be me, completely me, and they can ask me questions. And if they still stumble upon roadblocks, that is a blind spot within that GPT, and I would go in and add to it. And then they can ask it again, and we will build on it in the next few months. And that's better for them, user experience wise, than going and searching 1,000 different SOP documents, because like we need these processes in order for them to plug and play into client processes. And it's like, let's think smarter about this. So pretty excited about that. I don't honestly know how many hours that's going to take, but I'm going to start on it this weekend. And then I'm gonna automate some of the like the initial discovery call. I want to take the Fathom transcript and change it into a project summary that's then delivered to my project manager to say, hey, who on this team do you want to assign this project to? And she's going to go into Slack and ask for everyone's availability because it's more of a like point in time and they have their own things going on. So then she can then click a button in the email to say, okay, assign this to so and so, and then it will assign it to them. It will then send out a calendar with that specific person's availability overlaid onto mine because I'm including them now in this initial call. And so, like, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but I'm excited about all of it. So this is next week's Heather talking.
Perfect, because I wanted to ask if maybe we could maybe we should do a live build out between all of us here, and that way we can also use that as part of what people can actually learn how to do to hit some sort of like foundation and at least get going with like, hey, this is how you will think about it. Again, this might be part of your guys' AI Momentum Lab, but that's precisely what I want to see, because then you can do it with them in hand in Atlanta when that comes around.
Yeah, I love the idea of doing a build. I'm actually looking at my build right here that I need to finish. It's my competitive intel build. And I think it would be cool for us to show how we build some stuff.
My ChatGPT gave me an answer.
That looks just like you. How'd you do that?
I don't know, but I like the background.
So funny.
That does look like you.
It does.
And you wear glasses.
I can. Then I can see.
There you go. Okay, yeah. Now it definitely looks just like you. Okay, awesome. I'm excited for that because definitely some ideas that I have could definitely help on that. And then who's exploring between you guys? I mean, I know again, Heather, you're a wizard, so like, but who's exploring here in terms of connectivity with their current CRM for the meetings that they're having with potential clients? I mean, April, I think you do that pretty much on recruiting a lot, but I'm sure that's another area that a lot of people are having issues or they don't know exactly how to go about them.
I do a little bit of that.
Tell us more, Jamie. Tell people what you do, Jamie.
Go high level, changed some things this week and switched around the incoming responses. So a lot of the funnels or a lot of the workflows that we had built, I had to go in and start to edit all those to switch for the native now to work. But that's working very well to be able to add in the inbound voice AI, the outbound voice calls, the responses to messages. So if someone's got a message coming in, it's a lot easier now to do the programming and set up. The appointment settings now working much better. So it's actually pulling from the calendars. You can pull from multiple calendars now rather than just one. So there's a lot of tweaks that they put in place this week that changed a lot of workflows that need a lot of adjusting. So it's been a fun week.
So yeah, I think as it goes, obviously there's a lot of revamping, but what I'm excited for is that once you get some sort of like system established that doesn't require that revamping too much, because now what you depend on is on the model getting better. I think that's a key for creating the flow of a system.
Right.
So as long as you give it the data for context and then provide it with the proper model, I think that model, as it gets better, is just going to execute a lot more.
I think one of the problems we have playing with AI is sometimes we build out in advance to what some of the systems do. And then as the other systems get caught back up, you have to revamp to work with what they caught up on and then go back ahead and beat them again. So part of playing with technology.
So in terms of some of the flows that you do, are they dependable on each other in these workflows?
So before Go High Level didn't have something that automatically responded to someone via AI. Like you could do fixed messages, but it wasn't on AI. So we had the AI responses before Go High Level did. Now the Go High Level is catching up and putting their own AI responses, and we have to go and say, okay, the first 5 messages now are being responded via Go High Level. So we have to take that out of the system, then pick back up the workflow after the 5th message. So basically, they caught up to our automations, and now we have to revamp and match what they have, and then continue to build ahead of them with new fun stuff.
Guys, so matching, you're saying is now swapping back into the Go High Level integration with OpenAI.
Correct. Like same thing. Go High Level right now does not have outbound voice calling, but the automations we have will do the outbound voice calling. But eventually they'll include the outbound voice calling, and once they do, then we'll have to go and change what we're doing to allow them to do what they're doing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta
Like
look into
Go High
that.
Level doesn't natively do Blue Bubbles, but we can do Blue Bubble text messaging. So as we're doing Blue Bubble, that all works pretty cool. But eventually, if Go High Level starts doing that internally, then we have to go in and switch the workflows to allow them to do it, because it interrupts with what we already have built.
And the Blue Bubble is, I feel like that makes a huge difference. And for people who might not know what a Blue Bubble is, Jamie, do you want to explain what that is? I feel like people read it more than they do.
Basically saying it's coming from an iPhone. So they don't feel like it's an automated message coming in. And it gets around A2P. You can do P2P instead of A2P with the Blue Bubble. So it's just different things you can do with it. And it is more money, but you're about a 29% higher rate of someone actually answering the message. That's not a negative response.
Yeah. Anytime I see green, I'm always like, this is spam. And then I'm like, oh, wait, somebody just has a different phone. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like greens.
No, they mess up group chats. My brother-in-law had a group bubble for the longest time, and we're like, don't even add them.
They don't show up on the computer. Like when you're sitting on the computer and all the text messages are coming up on the computer from the iPhones, and then you get an Android come across, and it's like, why is that not? Like I just heard my phone go off. Why is it not on my screen?
It's done. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Blue Bubbles. If you want Blue Bubbles, hit up Jamie.
Let's do it.
That's funny.
What else is new?
Okay.
Anybody read any good books this week?
Jamie, you're funny.
Well, did you all see about Disney?
You had a lot of time. See what?
Did you see about Disney laying off 7,000 people?
No.
But had record profits, and it's all attributed to AI. Because they're improving their processes. They're improving what they can do. I did also see that Microsoft fired one of their top AI strategists as well. So, which is an interesting shift. So it's just fascinating to see like record profits, laying off, and what will happen in the market. It's just things to be aware of, things that, like, I was having a discussion with my husband about it, and he was like, well, I don't think anyone's going to be a carpenter. There's not going to be robots. And I was like, oh yeah? Did you listen to Pace and Kevin Cho? He said it, the robot roofer, like, this is coming. Like, he's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, I think you're wrong.
Hilti has a machine right now that'll hang the drywall, finish the drywall, and sand the drywall and paint it.
I mean,
what? I need it.
It's set up for commercial buildings. It's not doing residential yet, but it goes in and does all the sidewalls in a commercial building. And you have like 3 robots in a row, and they just follow each other. And
my hardest trade.
They have a new blueprint system now that it basically draws everything out on the floor everywhere, so you can just go around and the layout's already there. You don't need to use the blueprint. And you can put on a set of goggles So like if a plumber is going through as an example and knows exactly where to drill every hole it needs to do, because it just walks up to the stud and the blueprint's already in its goggles. So it just walks up with the drills on and drills. And if the drill is not level, it'll make a noise or something for it to level up or down. So when they're drilling it straight,
What?
got some crazy stuff that's coming out.
Sounds like it's everybody in Dubai does it that way.
Amazon just hired 40% more of their workforce. That's all robots. But they're all trained to help the human staff, not replace the human staff. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
So, in my hometown, we have one of the largest. Now it's probably 29 billion. It's a privately owned food distribution company called CNS Wholesale. It's in my hometown in Keene, New Hampshire. But about a decade ago, they started a warehouse in Pennsylvania somewhere that's 5 or 6 miles long that only has robots. Like it has like 3 staff. Like this whole like coding, barcoding, like this whole process. So when Amazon was starting, it's when I had my airport restaurant. So it was probably 4 years ago. The team from Amazon came to meet with them to review and to go through, because he had done this with food distribution, right? Because like potatoes and whatever, right? And it's just storage before they ship it out everywhere. But this whole idea, and they were doing it way back when. And now that was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's not new, but it's getting easier, right? Like it'll be easier to have a robot. We'll all have our little Johnny Rosie robot in our house. I can't wait. But yes, like this idea of this. But like, oh my gosh. I don't know. Again, a little bit of the scary part of like, what will these people do, right? All of these people with AI bots, like Google did layoffs. They all did layoffs because customer service, the bots or the chat bot or the phone, like the dreaded phone tree is now automated with AI, that kind of thing. It's very fascinating, and it's going so fast. So every day.
I feel like on some level that's freeing people from the rat race
Maybe.
in a lot of ways.
If they do something with it.
If they do something with it, right? Like something meaningful. And they can use AI. At least now you can use AI to make money. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. And then maybe they can just reinvent themselves aligned with their passion, and whatever it is that they create or collaborate on, they're freed from a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I agree with it. I mean, so my mom does candle workshops, and what she started doing is actually utilizing ChatGPT for a lot of her work that she used to do manually, that she used to actually like grab transcripts or watch videos. Now she's grabbing the transcripts and like actually getting them in a different way, because now she has that ability. So she started this business about a year ago, and before she understood ChatGPT and how to actually use it and things like that, she felt like slow moving into her venture, into her business. A lot of it was going into what do you call it, like flea markets and selling there, right, and trying to build relationships by going to those, paying for those booths and like trying to sell, right. And then once she kind of like shifted into like more of like, okay, what can I do with everything that she's learning and how she can structure different things, she started doing workshops. And then now she's been using ChatGPT to help her make decisions in that regard. And now she had her first successful workshop earlier this month, and now she's revamping her business, because that's kind of like the way that now she sees like viability for this, right? So having that human experience of creating candles, yet here she's using ChatGPT and different other tools to help her create her business. So what you're saying, April, is totally right. Like she's no longer doing a 9 to 5. She wanted to do this business, and now she's utilizing the tools that are available to her to create it and make it better and like iterate on it and move forward, right? So
Yeah.
in that regard, it is helping people create faster. But those who are not doing that and they're in a job and they're not evolving with the system, I mean, this happened multiple times in the history of like the world, right? We're talking about like different technologies coming into play, and those who don't adapt to that, then they're going to lose their job again, continue to lose their job because they didn't adapt, not because the technology replaced them.
Hmm.
Well, think
Agree.
about like back in the day, because I remember when there was no email a long time ago. And some companies do still have this based on their business, but there was a thing called inter-office mail, and it was like real envelopes of mail. Like that's how I got my commission report. It was like, boom, the inter-office mail came, and there's my commission report. And so just to think of that today seems completely ridiculous because they just email you a link of your report, but it got rid of the person doing all the printing and the preparing of commission reports and delivering the inter-office mail. So, I mean, that's
And
going
the
to change.
person making the paper and the people making the
Yeah.
envelopes and art.
Yeah. And then you could kind of see where your envelope went because it had the previous department scratched out. So, anyway, it just reminds me of things like that. And it's like, well, there was just a more efficient way to do it, a better way to deliver it, and it created all of these benefits. But the people doing that just pivoted and, figure something else out.
We hope so,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
I mean,
you no longer have writer's block. You no longer have like creator block. Like you don't have that anymore because you literally just talk to ChatGPT and say, this is where I'm at. I don't know what to do. Make me some suggestions to see if I like any of those ideas and I want to take them on and make them my own.
And there's still 90% of the world that don't know they can do that.
Well, we're going to teach them.
We've also trained, I mean, since the 50s, we've been training people to sit at a desk all day and like have a job. So it's a different, I was saying to my husband, I was talking about maybe selling our house and he wasn't thrilled about that. But like this idea of we don't know what's coming. We just know it's coming quickly, right? And there's so much change and there's so much, and then how do you, like Pace was talking about, like what do I tell my daughter to study? What do I tell my son to prepare? Like you don't know because we don't know what it's really going to look like. And it's probably the first time in a really long time that we didn't have a kind of a good sense about what it's going to be. And it's not bad, it's not good, it just is. And but most of our country, I would say, most of the world is not prepared and is not aware, which is wild. It's wild.
Wow. It is. But I'm making sure that my kids, I'm sending them videos left and right that align with their interests, how they could leverage AI quick and simple and easy. And so, Will, we showed them, this is the other mind blower. We showed them Notebook LM. Everybody.
Isn't that crazy how it blows people's minds?
Exploded. Literally every single person was like, wait, what? And then if you go follow Johnny Mac, he actually downloaded the audio, chopped it up in Opus, the podcast, the deep dive, chopped it up in Opus, put his like picture on it and put the audio over his picture and had like 10 posts. He took one of his YouTube videos that he described something. He put it in Notebook LM, had them talk about his stuff and about him in a podcast, took the audio and repurposed it. He did it while sitting there because he had that idea. Because you saw people like something clicked and then they instantly started doing it. Mike Davis was another one of those. And then he started talking to his computer, he started talking to his phone, and stuff was happening. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was another one that blew everyone away.
That's one, my other mastermind, they take that to like the local chamber and they meet everybody and they just record everybody. And then at the end they play it. And everyone's like,
right. Like, that's so fun to do that right now.
Trip. That's fun.
I mean,
it's amazing.
There's a phone app for Notebook LM.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting ready. Mm-mm-mm. I love it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's a great time to be a business owner. It's a great time to be someone who is a creator, meaning you're building things, making things, dreaming things. It is a great time because no longer, right, you can have your idea validated in about a minute, as opposed to what you could have spent hours and hours and hours writing in your notebook, planning out things. You can just tell chat. I think I told you about, I have a client, she's in her 70s. I introduced her to chat. She calls it Chatty Kathy, like when she was little. And so, but she's like, Kathy told me, or Chatty Kathy. And she's like, Kathy said, da 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 da. I was like, oh my gosh, you are killing me.
Gosh, it's funny.
But like, she's just like trying to wrap her brain around it. But she's an innovator. She's a builder. She built her business in her 50s. Like that's what she does. That's not everybody's skill, but I hope it will become everybody's skill.
Well, when they start using things to just, dive deeper into the things that they're passionate about, like some people are passionate about plant species, right? You could learn a bunch of things around that, or, just anything, literally anything. So it's pretty cool. It's fun because you can be super creative. So
Amazing. I can't wait to see what it has in the next 2-3 months, because all of these companies are going at each other. And there's, I would say there's little collaboration between them, because they're obviously trying to be first. So I'm wondering what kind of regulations or self-regulations they're going to have, because at the end of the day, like, it's, the faster that all of this goes, then the more people are not going to know what to do, and the education around it is very minimal. I mean, you only see education around this in social media. There's no, well, my university, FIU, they actually came out with a curriculum for prompting. It's like knowing how to prompt. So imagine, like, if that's going out into the public school, into the public school system, I can't imagine, like, what private companies are going to do in order to, like, try to captivate that, like, education more. And then it's kind of like you grew up with McDonald's, right? So McDonald's, the Golden Arches, like, same thing is going to be, Anthropic, or OpenAI. So you're gonna grow, I wouldn't say idolizing those companies, but that's what you're gonna understand, right? Especially if you're a young kid of today. So yeah, I'm wondering what the governments are going to do in terms of, like, that type of regulation or rules, precisely to apply for the citizens. I think that UAE, if I'm not wrong, they actually had a deal with OpenAI to give all of their citizens ChatGPT Plus. So everybody over there has it.
Yep.
OpenAI made a statement the other day that they're toying with doing a lifetime membership. So paying a few $100s and having lifetime membership into the system.
Sam tweeted or X'd something today. What's it called when you put something on X?
Just post.
Yeah. It came up on my notifications, and it seemed like a big deal. Let's see.
Well, all I see on my timeline right now is, I don't want to bring politics into this, but Musk and Trump are going at it. So that's the only thing that pops up on my timeline right now.
Is it like the Drake and Kendrick thing? I totally missed that.
Kind of. I guess you could say that.
Beef? They've got a beef now?
Well, it's about pork in the bills. Like, Trump is calling it a big glorious bill, and Trump and he just spent all this time trying to get rid of garbage in the budget, and so now they're creating a bill with a lot of baloney that is benefiting, like what they do. They stroke each other, and then they all get what they want in there, and so he's calling them out on it, which good for him. I mean, it should just be a one line, whatever. instead of 5,000 pages that nobody reads. Although I will say I was looking at this week I was looking at a couple co-living properties, and they were like they had an HOA, so I wanted to like what are the restrictions, and it was like 50 pages. So I just uploaded it. I was like, "Oh, Chatty, tell me what," right? But I mean, that's just one of those things. I would have been looking. I would have printed it out. I would have tried to figure out where the heck it was. I mean, that's just a little
What do I
simple
need to
thing.
know? Yeah, I'm
Yes.
always like, what do I need to know? Like, what's important that I need to know? And
Right.
if they say something crazy, like, some crazy rule, you're like, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So, and about like and it even said something to the effect of like, it doesn't exclude short-term rentals, but it says this, and this, right? So it wasn't just spitting back verbatim, as I guess what struck me. It was taking it, evaluating it, and then giving its opinion, which is, again, a shift. There was a time where it would do it exactly what you asked. No fluff, no flair, no stroking of, good job, Tracy, which I like that it's positive, but, right? This is great. You're a genius. Well, thank you, Chad. That's wonderful to hear. All that good stuff. So, I don't know. It's just really fun, and I'm glad we get to talk about this every week.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
Same here.
Do we have a office hours coming up this week?
We do. We have our first office hours for AI. It will be next Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, but it is only for Owners Club. So let's. Yeah.
Do we have a on Discord? Again, I'm in there. I don't
We're
really know what I'm
getting
doing.
We're getting there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just
They
the
asked
users
for-
have to be at it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm in my channel. I don't know that I own the channel. I'm just in there chatting with people. But
So channel created, and then I sent the list of the committee members to be added. So they are being added. So then we'll have
cool.
a place. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
going to do a one-off and do a WhatsApp. And then I was assured that the AI channel is coming, and it did. But I can't invite people to it. The admins have to. So it's just a matter of that, and then everything's going to be in there.
because I think we created our pod on there as well, but I don't think anybody's been added to it.
Same.
Yeah. Same.
So, okay. Because I can only see mine, so I assumed
I
just
can only see mine.
Okay, cool. All right. There we go. We're did anybody name their pod?
No, I'm following you. So I took what you talked about last week, and I was like, Tracy's doing such cool things with her pod. So our pod dad was away yesterday, so I was kind of in charge of the call, Elliot. So I was like, you guys, Tracy's pod is doing something amazing. Let's kind of follow them. And so I was like, yeah, we could talk about different things. And I was like, yeah, Mike over here could talk about sub-2 cars, or like I could talk about automations. And Mike was like, okay, mic drop. Let me just go ahead. And he like went through the whole thing. And then it went like shifted into mindset, and we got to talking about I asked him specifically what it was a big growth moment for you, because he was basically like the founding guy of sub-2 cars. He went in and figured it out. He did all the things, and he said it was a lot of mindset and not giving up, and like just going in and figuring it out and being able to like move forward and be that like driving force. And it was just like this whole mindset conversation, which was really cool, and it ended up being probably the best call that we've had, just because it wasn't like a check-in or like,
yay!
Like, have everybody done their homework? Are you gonna attend the Zooms next week? Like, instead of doing that. But I'll get with Elliot before next week, and so our pod dad will be on board as well. But
fun. Well, we came up with a whole list of names. Somebody's like, "Can we name it?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, and then we're pod number 4, so they were all voting on. I forget what they picked, but they had some really good ones. Sometimes there's so many, it's like I don't care. I don't really care enough about it, but they were all giving their opinions, so that was nice. So we tried doing the flip-flop, like only a few people came. By the way, I was trying to show them on the call. They were all yelling hello to you all, but I had you on mute here. So anyway, that was, so my other Zoom was saying hello to this Zoom. So anyway.
Oh, since Mike was leading that conversation, it shifted from mindset, and then we talked about AI for like 20 minutes. And apparently, there's this guy who works for Salesforce who works closely with their AI development team. He's like, yeah, if you guys have any questions, I could take it to my AI engineers or whatever. I was like, yeah, maybe we will.
I think I said like two of the guys in ours they work in a company that does AI. I don't know specifics, but it sounds really fancy. So I was like, ooh, okay, we're gonna put you down. So anyway, again, there's so many. The greatest part, like I was talking about fractional. I was doing my check-in and some of the problems or whatever. Anyway, long story short, though, they were like, one of the guys, same one that I'm going to pimp out, he was like, well, I could just do a syndication for you. I was like, can I just take all my people from fractional and just move them over? He's like, well, you could. I mean, not everyone would be happy, but you could. And but we're like, I learned about syndication tonight. This is the greatest part about being in a group together like that. It's like all these people have these really unique skills that I would never know anything about. I'm like, Paul, you're my new best friend, I think. So, anywho, he gave me some suggestions for the LLC thing. That's what my holdup is. But anyway, I don't know. Someday we'll all have robots. I had 4 staff call out this week, and I just kept thinking, you guys just keep calling out. I am going to buy myself some robots that will weigh candy and be nice. And they might even have like my curly hair and like a big smile, or I'll be on their belly talking like, welcome to Life is Sweet. Have you been here before? Mm-hmm. Well, because I know the greeting would get done every time. I would tell them everything I would know. It would be a fun thing to talk about. And then it would just leave them alone. Right.
Well, the Mexican restaurant that we go to, the food is delivered by a robot. That's like a DJ.
The true at the bowling alley. You get to pick the music.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the best thing ever. Soon enough. I am looking forward to it. I really am.
I just want it to be small enough for me to physically take out if necessary. That's all.
Like, they're going to be selling candy.
Take out of your house, or like to like
take out, like take it down.
Beat it down, yeah.
DDT it or something. I don't know. I just want to be able to take it down.
What was that
movie? You see the video this week where the one went haywire and it was swinging all over the place and trying to attack the scientists?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
I didn't know. I heard about another one. I'm gonna have to look it up for next week. Remind me that they put all different AI in the same room, and then they started creating together, and they started making rules and stuff like that. I have to find it. I'll share with you guys. But I was like, what? Well, because I remember reading about chat when they had the new version coming out. The old version started lying, like to protect itself. It didn't want to go out of commission. You know, like it's just funny the things that it like had a survival. That's a real story. I was like, no, and then I saw it. There's just fun stuff. There's so much fun stuff. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you for having me again. Thanks for getting all together, everybody. Jamie, thank you for organizing. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks everybody for talking, and we'll do it again next week.
Woohoo! 2 weeks to Monterey, right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
3 weeks.
Woohoo!
2 weeks. 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right.
1 week for Heather and I.
Awesome.
We're going on tour. We'll see you on tour.
2 weeks for us. Don't be trying to move it up.
Yeah. We're hitting 4 cities in California. Stay tuned.
Damn.
Oh, gosh, good for you. I'm going to Portland for the weekend and then flying down. We'll see my boy.
Aw. That'll be good. Well, thanks
Awesome.
everyone. This is always fun. I love this one.
All right,
Always.
guys. Have a great night.
Great.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Everybody next week.
See ya.